But what I was talking with somebody else on a different podcast recently, though, Glenn, this very same point, and I said the problem, as you acknowledged, though, was the progressive left certainly doesn't have this live and let live. They're really big on democracy, unless it's the people in Alabama voting on something, because they might vote wrong. So that's so.
Yeah, and that's the problem. Is it can't be. Tennessee's going to do its own thing. Just this neoliberalism, it really is like a religion. And it's almost like if someone doesn't think like I do, they're evil. So if the people in Tennessee decide that they want to do something different than what Massachusetts, New York, California, Illinois think, then all of a sudden we're a bunch of stupid, evil rednecks. Instead of saying, okay, that's their prerogative and they should be able to do that.
Mm-hmm. And it's also, I mean, I know we're kind of riffing here, but it's funny too, because the people who talk like that ostensibly are big proponents of multiculturalism. And hey, if that culture over there, if the ancient Aztecs did baby sacrifices, that's fine. Who are we to judge? But those people, they like their guns, right. And oh, that's a weird practice. Yeah. We should ban that. So
yeah, that's exactly right. Unfortunately,
you mentioned the election. Do you have any this is kind of crazy, right? I mean, I've never seen anything like this. And I mean, it was kind of funny that, Biden's debate performance, even the mainstream media kind of had to admit, yeah, there's something going on here. And to see this sort of internal struggle among it's interesting. There's plenty of prominent progressive leftists that are coming forward. And, I think partly because they want Kamala Harris, for various reasons, they want her to be the nominee, but you're just openly saying he should step aside. It seems like there's a little civil war going on. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I got tired of hearing the term unprecedented during COVID.
Right.
And again, it's like, this is unprecedented, but the thing is, it really is unprecedented. And again, all lifetimes, you've never seen anything like this. I mean, maybe you can say the 1968 Democrat National Convention in Chicago, but I don't even think that was like this. That was just different. And I guess, though, it tells you what kind of times that we live in, that you look back to tumultuous 1960s and we're being compared to that again. So it really is unprecedented. I don't think we've seen anything like this in decades, at least. And the thing that's really troubling is, well, first of all, sadly, we know that the mainstream media lies. Either they lie or they're stupid. Either one is really bad, okay? Because you could tell for however long now that President Biden has some serious issues with his cognitive function. I'm not saying that's mean. You can just see it, and they would say, oh, those are doctored videos. I would always go watch the raw video as much as I could.
Right.
And it was like, no, they're not doctored videos. This is what happened. And then all of a sudden one night to say, oh my gosh, no. I mean, were you not watching your own news programming? Because you guys were the one, you were putting it out there and you could see as clearly as everyone else, or should have been able to see that. And I read something the other day that's really interesting too. It's like 2020, the Democrats needed someone who didn't seem so radical. So they turned to old Joe, who is moderate, very calming. Well, now it's almost like he's served his purpose. Let's just kick him to the curb. And
right.
Okay, great. But it just, I actually almost have no words, because I haven't seen anything like this in my lifetime. And going back to the Democrats not being very democratic, well, basically what they were trying to do is they were trying to push Biden through with as little public input as possible by having a virtual convention, by doing all these things. And now the whole thing's been blown up, and now they're scrambling, trying to figure out what to do. I think they're in a horrible situation, because just the time, and they're really behind the eight ball. If they were to say, okay, if we can get Joe to step down, and it has to be his decision at this point.
Right.
Because
the quirk is right, like that he's already got enough delegates that they can't just, It's not like, oh, well, the primary, we officially haven't picked, like at this point, no, he would have to agree.
It's not, he had to step down. And in some states, I think the only way that he comes off the ballot is if he dies. So anyway, it's not like they can just insert someone else in there. And okay, it's Kamala, who was the first candidate out in 2016 in the Democrat primary, who is universally unpopular. You're going to run her. or you're going to look at Gavin Newsom, who, I mean, that's great for your base, but that I don't think that picks any votes up in swing states, because they're going to look at California and realize that basically its policies have turned that place into a basket case. So I don't know what they're going to do. They're going to have to figure it out really quickly, because there's not much time left. And obviously, too, the longer this goes on, the more that they're harmed. And again, looking at Kamala, it's like, okay, she said the president was fine. Now she's saying he's not. Well, which is it, lady? And were you willingly ignorant, or are you just not smart enough to see what was going on? I think it's the willful ignorance, obviously. But either way, it's really bad. And they're going to have to answer those questions. And also, maybe the main question right now is, who's actually calling the shots in the White House? Because it ain't Joe Biden.
Right. Yeah, obviously. Yeah. Yeah, even when they're doing like the damage control, it's like, oh, when he's pretty sharp from this time of day to this time of day, and it's like, well, hopefully China doesn't invade Taiwan.
Exactly.
And,
I think Peter Doocy asked here, and is like, so what happens if they call at 11 o'clock and so their nuclear missiles into the U.S.? And is Jill the one making the decision then?
Okay, so we've got that going on, but at the same time, I know what you mean. Like you hesitate. Everything's unprecedented, but the stuff they're throwing at Trump, I think for the casual observer, people tune it out, and I totally understand that sentiment. But I was just going in and looking at like the legality or lack thereof of some of these cases with Trump, and it was crazy. Like the knots they were having to tie themselves in just to be able to now say, yes, he's a convicted felon. Yeah. For people who don't know, like just going through what they had to do to get that to stick is incredible.
Yeah.